During the two gubernatorial debates here in New Jersey during 2021, Governor Phil Murphy and his opponent, Jack Ciattarelli, did a lot of sparring on taxes, COVID, climate change, white privilege. But one thing you may not have heard, not in the mainstream press and certainly not on the debate stage, was anything related to recreational fishing. Now, in fairness, Governor Murphy has been around for 4 years, so we know what to expect in terms of his responsibilities and his response to the recreational fishing community. But I was curious to know where Jack Ciattarelli stood in terms of the fishing community here in the Garden State. So some of you are Democrats, you're going to vote the Democratic line. Some of you are Republicans, I know where you're going to stay that way. But in terms of where you might stand on items that don't have to do with taxes or school funding or any of the likes, I thought it was important to find out where Jack Ciattarelli stood in terms of fishing. That's my responsibility here at the Fisherman magazine. So heading into November 2nd, if you wanted to know what the opponent, Jack Ciattarelli, thinks about fishing, well, I had the opportunity to speak with him for a few minutes at Riptide Bait and Tackle in Brigantine, and here's what he had to say.
You know, the irony of being here at Riptide Bait and Tackle in Brigantine is back in the late 90s, my wife and I almost bought in Brigantine.
Oh, really?
And we had two in diapers at the time, and we got caught on the parkway in traffic, and it took us 5 hours to get here. And I turned to her and I said, you got to find a place less than 2 hours from the house. So we settled on LBI, Surf City, and we've been there since 1997.
I know the one question a lot of anglers have is, do you fish?
I fish when I can, but my sons like to fish right off the beach there, so we enjoy it. And we've got uncles out of Sheepset Bay in Brooklyn that own boats, and we always enjoy going out.
Oh, terrific. Good. You know, most New Jerseyans headed to the polls on November 2nd they've got a bunch of personal issues they're going to decide, from taxes to COVID. But what would a Ciattarelli administration look like in terms of recreational fishing, both saltwater and freshwater, as opposed to what we've seen from the Murphy administration?
Well, because of the Jersey Shore, which is a rite of passage here in New Jersey, we support recreational fishermen. We do. And that'll probably lead us, I hope, to a conversation about that windmill farm that we need to have. But we need to make sure that people have every opportunity to enjoy fishing here in New Jersey. It's a rite of passage, and that includes people that just do it off the beach, off their boats, and also the commercial fishermen. It's important right here in New Jersey.
You bring up two good points. Commercial and recreational fishing together, it's a $4 billion industry.
That's right.
For New Jersey. When you compare a lot of different states, a lot of the states are kind of budgeting more money for marine fisheries, for example. It's really not a partisan Democrat versus Republican thing. It's really kind of become maybe geographic or red tape in Trenton. But is that something you could see as kind of helping out our marine fisheries and our Fisheries Bureau and the Division of Fish and Wildlife with some increased funding and budgetary concerns?
Absolutely. It's critical to our economy, and a lot of people don't know of what the Jersey Shore and all the industries that depend along the Jersey Shore mean to our state economy. It's like 1/5 of our state economy. And what I've always said is I'll reinstate the Department of Commerce here in New Jersey, and it's going to have 4 sub-chiefs, each responsible for a different part of the state, North, Central, South, and Jersey Shore, to make sure that economic development in all forms is thriving here in New Jersey.
You mentioned the industrial wind farms, and a lot of the anglers have felt really boxed out of the discussion. I mean, how would you treat this situation in terms of listening to the stakeholders, the recreational fishermen, and those folks at the Jersey Shore?
We need a national energy plan that galvanizes the American people. We're not going to solve global warming one state at a time, which is what Phil Murphy's trying to do. What you're seeing is not a rational transition to the future in terms of zero carbon emissions. I feel like his entire energy master plan is too much, too soon, too fast. And so I'm looking to slow it down and do the rational thing in terms of energy policy.
Now, the industrial wind facilities off the Jersey coast have probably been as contentious a topic in the fishing community as taxes and school funding are in the mainstream. But Jack Ciattarelli stressed his concern to me over potential impacts to our marine resources and fishing communities as reasons for slowing the process a bit. But back on the topic of fishing, I thought this question seemed appropriate enough. I've never fished with a governor. Maybe in the future, a year from now, we'll come down here, Brigantine, wet a line.
I got a better idea. In 20 days, I'll be governor-elect, and we go fishing right there and then.
Now, as I noted, your decision on November 2nd may be based on partisan loyalty or other issues based on what's in the best interest of you and your family. But as he chatted with Brigantine residents inside Riptide Bait and Tackle on October 14th, I pretty much stuck to the fishing questions. That's not to say, though, that we didn't tread into controversial New Jersey matters. Pork roll or Taylor ham?
Oh, for me, it's pork roll. Sorry, guys. And there is a Central Jersey. I live in it. Jim, thank you.
It's awesome. Thank you very much.